October 6, 1973, on the sacred Jewish day of Yom Kippur, Apt and Syria launched a surprise attack on Israel. Just a few years earlier, in 1967, Israel had captured large territories from both countries. No, Apt and Syria wanted their land back. In the early days of the war, Arab force dealt heavy damage to Israel. It looked like the balance of power was shifting, but then something familiar happened. Israel called for help, and the United States stepped in with missile military aid, weapons, and supplies from America. The situation flipped. Israel not only pushed back the Arab coalitions but also captured even more territories. But the war did not end there, because the Arab nations decided to respond not with bullets but with oil. 20 October 1973, Saudi Arabia, along with other Arab countries, announced an oil embargo. No oil for the United States, no oil for any countries supporting Israel. And within a week, the world changed. Oil price did not just rise, they tripled. And petrol pump in America was massive. Inflation exploded. Economies started shaking. Even the United States had to rethink its positions, but the impact did not stop in the West. Countries like India, who had no things to do with the war, also suffered due to the oil crisis. Inflation in India surged to nearly 30%. The next year, public energy grew. Protests spread across the country under Jaya Prakash under your leadership. The protest turned into a mass movement and eventually facing the rising oppositions. Indira Gandhi. Indira Gandhi imposed the emergency, a war happening thousands of kilometers away and of affecting millions of lives elsewhere. No, fast forward to 2026, the situation feels strangely similar. There is conflict involving Iran, oil difficulties across the Middle East, and under attacks. Supply chains are breaking. Kuwait has pushed supplies. Qatar has slower gas protections. Saudi Arabia major refinery has been hit, and the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most important oil routes in the world, is potentially blocked. More than 150 oil tankers are stuck, and one again oil price are rising rapidly. And for year we have heard data is the new oil, silicon is the new oil, renewables and are the futures. But in 2026, reality is clear. Oil is still oil. It still run the global economy. It still decide war. It still shapes geopolitics. So today we try to understand why is oil still so power. Why are countries are still willing to fight over it? Why really controls global oil supplies? And why is the Middle East so abundant? The modern oil age begins in 1859, when oil was first controllably accepted in Pennsylvania, USA. And that times the world was in middle of the industrial revolutions. Coal was dominant, but oil quickly provided to be more efficient. Within a few years, it became the backbone of industry. America saw a booms. Oil drillings expanded rapidly. So European powers like Britain, Britians, and France joined the race. In 1908, Britons discovered oil in Persia, modern day in Iran. Thought the Anglo-Persian oil companies, today known as BP, British, become extracting oil from the Middle East. This marked the beginnings of modern oil politics in the regions. The world was machines dominated warfare. Tank plans, ship, and needed fuels. Oil become the deciding factor. Countries with secure oil access had an advantage. Other struggles, Germany and Japan's lacking stable oil supplies fell behind. And after we war, one lesson was clear: control oil or lose power. The United States already had strong oil reservoirs and companies. It expanded into the Middle East, offering the local countries small profit shares while maintaining control. But his did not last forever. And 1953, Iran Prime Minister Mohammad Mossad nationalized oils. He wanted Iran to control its own resource, but his agreed the West, the CIA, the British intelligence backed corps. The Shah was restored, and Western control over Iranian oils, and eventually Middle Eastern countries pushed back the former OAPEC to control their own oil production and supply. And in 1973, they used oil as weapons, and oil is traded globally in one unified market. And not all oil is the same. The light vs heavy and sweet vs source crude. The best type light sweet crude is limited Middle East